Prayer.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've given to us, Lord. Thank you for all the many blessings that you give us, Lord. Lord, we pray that you be with each and every one of us and decisions that we make, Lord, that we'd always seek your guidance in everything that we do. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all meet in order. I have a request before we get started by some people that's been watching 49. We want to know if we could raise their hand on the vote instead of having voice vote. I told them I didn't see no problem with it. So, need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the claims.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right. All right, sir. Excuse me, but I forgot your name, but you're up next.
Okay. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My name is James Lake, and I'm a partnership specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau. So I wanted to come by and speak to you very briefly. I won't take much of your time. We're getting into the period of time where we're starting to make preparations and raise awareness for the U.S. Census. The official U.S. Census Day that begins the count will be April 1st of 2020. So what will happen is it's generally about the first or second week of March. The packets will go out to all the households, all the addresses that have been verified by the Census Bureau. And that will begin the census count that occurs. Of course, it happens every 10 years. It's constitutionally mandated. The first census was conducted in 1790, and we've been doing one every 10 years since. My job as a partnership specialist, the Census Bureau has us out into the communities doing what I'm doing now. That's partnering with and communicating and connecting with community leaders, elected officials, church officials, school educators, chambers of commerce, anybody and everybody who's a trusted voice in the community, people who can help us raise awareness and create assurances to people that it's important, why it's important, and that it is important and it's safe for them to respond to the census. The requirements or the reasons why it's important is, of course, congressional apportionment. The federal dollars that come in, the Census Bureau states it's generally about $675 billion a year nationwide that comes into the communities. Over a 10-year period, that's over $4 billion. It funds programs, education, Head Start, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP programs. A lot of those highway dollars, things like that, are all generally apportioned based on population. So it's important for everyone to get the population count right. You all, as county commissioners, the county, the cities, provide services to people, whether we're counted in the census or not. The money, these dollars follow the numbers. We'd like to say they follow the need, but generally speaking, they follow the numbers, and that's based on the count. So it's all our best interest to make sure that we get a full and accurate count. The maps that you have kind of show the areas that historically have lower count rates. So we try to focus our efforts on those, but obviously the count is important everywhere. We're hoping to increase the awareness this time because when the packets go out in March next year for the first time, In addition to the old-fashioned way, up until now, every 10 years, you respond to the census one of two ways, and that was answering the questionnaire that came in the mail, mailing it back in, or waiting until the enumerators came around and knocked on the door and answered it that way. For 2020, two new methods will be added, and that is you can call an 800 number that will be in the packet that goes out, and you can answer the census questions that way, or you can go to a secure website and respond to the census questions for your household online. So we're hoping for increased, response because of that, but we know out in the rural areas, low cell phone signal, low internet broadband, things like that. We need to raise awareness for that, so we try to reach out to the career centers, the colleges, the libraries that have computer labs to make those available as well. So what we look for is partnership with the local officials to help us come up with ideas, let us know about events and festivals, help us raise awareness by putting information out anywhere and everywhere we can. These flyers, we have electronic copies of these flyers that we can put on websites and social media. And again, any kind of events that come up in the county, we can have it, put it, set up a booth and exhibits and pass that information, answer questions. A lot of people have questions. Confidentiality of information is one of the biggest things, and there's a flyer in there that talks about that. Now more than ever, the Census Bureau has ramped up our data security systems and things like that, particularly because of the new methods of phone calls and internet website answering this time around makes it even more important to protect information. So that's kind of where we are. We're just looking to create relationships with you all and other community leaders moving forward, establish lines of communication, and you all let me know ideas that come up. You can appoint a committee who helps you develop ideas, and we can work with those committees a lot of ways. You can do proclamations and resolutions of support, speak to your constituents. Anything and everything is certainly ways that we can reach and make sure we get the awareness out there. So
once it gets closer to time, do y'all have someone, like if we set up a community meeting, y'all have someone come out?
Yes, sir.
Speak to them?
I can come out, if not me, someone else. My duty, my assignment is Marion County, Lamar County, Fayette County, and Tuscaloosa County. So I have about a 4-county area.
Yes.
We're hiring more and more people. We have actually a job recruiting push going on this week where we're hiring more people to try to condense that down so that I don't have 4 counties to cover. Maybe I have 2, but for now, yes, sir, I'm kind of point of contact now for Marion County, and can come back out and meet at, talk at a town hall or any kind of event like that, another meeting like this or whatever.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Would these low response areas have anything to do with low population in those areas?
No, sir. The response has to do with the number of people in those areas of that population who did not respond. So there are a number of reasons why. Generally speaking, in past census counts, we find that there are certain groups of people who tend to be in communities of people who are least likely to respond. Generally poorer people do, people in rural areas, obviously homeless, the incarcerated, young children, people who are transient back and forth between maybe living in RV parks, or they travel a lot. There's certain groups of people that are undercounted. Children under 5 tend to be the highest group of people who are undercounted, and they just often get overlooked. They're not in the elementary school yet, so the schools aren't doing outreach. They may be back and forth between mom and dad or grandparents. That maybe they're in a daycare, and sometimes often children under 5 get overlooked. So some of those undercounted areas you see there could be any number of different circumstances that could cause that. Lack of trust, some people just don't want the government in their business, so they don't respond. A number of ways like that cause that, and again, that's what we want to try to get out and assure people the importance of it and why it's important, and it's safe and secure and important for everybody. One of the things, of course, that we're looking at, and I know Congressman Adderholt has really been pushing, the awareness, and the governor has too, is the potential loss of a congressional seat. 71% an average 71% response rate was what Alabama had in 2010. And some of the numbers that have been run say if we have another 71% response rate this time around, we could probably lose a congressional seat. So we want to increase those numbers and try to stave that off if at all possible. And we really won't know until after the census is over how successful we were. So we got to pull out all the stops and try everything we can now to do all we can.
I got a question. I know the census got nothing to do with politics, but what's the deal with the Democratic Party? Because I see on this map that the majority of this right here, that's the Democratic area. What have they got? What kind of what have they got that the Republicans not got? Will they get these people out and do these census? What kind of trick is it? Well, I mean, what are they telling these people to do
I think
this?
a lot of it is just demographic stuff. Most of that's the black belt. Poverty has a lot to do with it. As I mentioned, one of our highest populations of people that what we call hard to count or hard to reach are people who are poor and out in rural areas. And you know, you see across that strip where the red and the oranges are mostly black belt areas. So we think that poverty has a good bit to do with it. Lack of resources and availability. We're hoping though, and I know I've met with both Congressman Airholt and Congressman Sewell's representatives to try to make sure that we get into those communities, in the community colleges, in the libraries, and offer the computer labs available as well for people who maybe can't do it any other way. They can come to the computer or come to the library and maybe respond online. Politically, I don't know in terms of one party or the other how that works, but it just seems to me when you look at those areas, the one common factor is the location. Geography has something to do with it, which a lot of that's poverty. Greene County, Sumter County, Hale County, those are pretty poor areas, and a lot of them are out in remote. You don't have very many large towns there, so we've got to look at outreach in those areas.
So I'm reading this backwards. These areas right here, there's not filling them out.
Correct.
Yeah.
The darker the color, the lower the response rate. It is the grid down there. The legend is a little bit confusing. The darker the number, the lower the average response rate has been in past census.
Marion County about half.
Sorry.
Marion County says 11%.
That's right. About half is in the I think it's the 18 or 19% percentile, and the other half of it is a little bit lower, which is good. The lighter the numbers, the better your response rates have been in the past. But obviously, we want 100% is our goal, of course. But certainly, the lighter the color of the map, the better those areas are doing in the past, have been.
Hopefully we can continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're hoping, again, by having the other additional ways to respond this time around is going to help, but of course that's nationwide. So every state, if they have an increase and we have an increase as well, then it's going to be about who has the greater increase to preserve congressional seats and representation, those types of things.
Yes, sir.
So any ideas you think of, my contact information is there. Any events and festivals and things that come up moving forward, you want to have a town hall or anything like that, if you decide, if you look at that brochure and look at the what a complete count committee consists of, and you want to appoint one of those and have some workshops and things, we can do those as well.
Okay.
And what's the average time of filling out a census?
Takes about 10 minutes. It's 10 questions. It's very quick. This is it. It's 2 pages. Actually 9 questions. Per person, it's 9 questions per person in the household. Very basic information, same things you would fill out for for your utility bill or for, driver's license. It's just common information about who's in the household, what their ages are, what gender they are. We ask for dates of birth so that we can deconflict, twins or, double counting people, things like that. So
Yeah.
pretty basic information.
All right. Anybody else got any questions? We thank you for your time, sir.
Sir, thank you for your time.
I'll get y'all a copy in just a few minutes, okay? Gentlemen, I'd like to present y'all with my letter of resignation effective for January the 21st of 2020. I've been your county administrator for 15 years, but at this time I feel like it's necessary and that I need to go to Fayette County. And I appreciate everything that y'all have done for me, and I appreciate everybody that I've worked with as far as county employees, county constituents, and other county commissioners and all the staff throughout the years.
Thank you for your dedicated service. Hate to lose you. we have a motion to accept Brooks?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Good luck on your new job.
Thank you.
Happy that you're willing to stay on and help us through the first of the year.
I only have one copy, I'll get this down just a little bit. This is for the next item on the agenda for the appointment of the village administrator.
This is a letter from Caleb Moore, which everyone knows is, works here. She's asking to be appointed to the position of administrator. Caleb, would you like to say a few words?
Well, I don't want Brooke to leave, but I'm thankful that she's staying through the first of the year, like you said, and I do feel like she will be able to prepare me as best as someone as new as me can be prepared for 15 years of experience to leave before she leaves. And I hope to make a smooth transition if y'all will have me, and to just continue daily operations and overseeing of finance for the county. And I have a lot to learn, but I feel that I'm up for the challenge.
Anybody have any questions, comments? Do we have a motion to appoint Caleb? Bob?
No doubt that I'm in favor of this, but it's a little quick to, is this, I mean, as I say, I'm not against this, it's a little quick for us to come to a conclusion on this. Everybody, I mean, if I'm not against it at all. Because we decided, I mean, I think moving up then makes good sense to me. It just, I wouldn't expect to make a decision this quick on the new administrator. But it's fine with me, if somebody wants to make a motion, that's fine with me.
We can table it.
Well, I mean, that may not be the choice of the other four, and I mean, as I say, I don't have I'm not against it, this recommendation at all.
Okay. Anybody else? Do we have-
I mean, to me personally, I ain't got a problem with Caitlin doing it. And the reason I think she needs to go ahead is because Brooke can train her for the next 2 months.
Yes. 2.5.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yes.
I do believe it's same that.
Yeah,
I'll
it's in that.
second the motion, but
I mean, that's really, I mean, I got, because I honestly believe she can do it, and she got confidence she can do it.
Dale, you got any comments?
I think she make a good one, and, already familiar with how everything works, I think it'd be a good move.
And like Keith said, it's in-house hire. She's done familiar with everything. Do we have a motion to appoint Caleb as the new county administrator?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Time, all time.
Congratulations, Ms. Moore.
Thank y'all.
Next on the agenda, we need to go into executive session for a little bit, discuss the name and character of an individual. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
We need to give a time, we're supposed to give a time, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Probably roughly 20 to 30 minutes. into regular session.
I so move.
Second,
I second.
all in favor? Uh, At this time, we have a recommendation from our county engineer on some job reclassifications because one employee quit. Instead of replacing that employee, we're gonna be assigning more duties to others. And he has a list of the employees and be new job classifications and new pay will be adjusted according to the classifications. At this time, we need a motion to accept Mike Shaw's recommendation on the job classifications and everything.
I'll make that motion to accept Mike's recommendations on reclassifying the employees and their pay scale.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Abstain.
Yeah, y'all vote on
Okay. So you think we
it. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to abstain from this vote.
all right. Thank you, sir. This time, all in favor of Mike's recommendation, raise your hand. All opposed? That motion so passed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second?
I second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/49 County News TV.